कुंज बिहार जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजनाय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजनाय जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हे राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की। जयम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopaha Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. This morning we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, entitled The Creative Impetus, Chapter 13, entitled Rahugan Converses with Jad Bharat. This is text 19. Ataha Kathanchin Sa Vimukta Apada Punaha Cha Sartham Pravishati Arindama Advani Amushnim Ajaya Niveshito Brahman Jano Adyapi Na Veda Kaschana Atha Kathanchinsa Vimukta Apada Atha Kathanchinsa Vimukta Apada Punascha Sartham Pravishati Arindama Punascha Sartham Pravishati Arindama Advani Amushmin Ajaya Niveshito Advani Amushin Ajaya Niveshito Brahmanjano Adyapi Naveda Kaschin Brahmanjano Adyapi Naveda Kaschana Atha Kathanchin Savimukta Apada Punascha Sartham Pravishati Arindama Advani Amushmin Ajaya Niveshito Brahmanjanodyapi Naveda Kaschana Atha Kathanchin Savimukta Apada Punascha Sartham Pravishati Arindama Advani Amushnin Ajaya Niveshito भ्रमञ्जनोऽपि यद्यपि न वेद कश्चन. Please recite. अतः कथाञ्चिन् सविमुक्तापदा पुनश्च सार्थं प्रविशति अरिन्दमा. अध्वानियमुष्मिन् अजनिवेशितो भ्रमञ्जनोऽद्यापि न वेद कश्चन. अथ कथाञ्चिन् सविमुक्त आपदा पुनश्च सार्थं प्रविशति अरिन्दमा. अध्वानियमुष्मिन् अजया निवेशितो भ्रमञ्जनोऽपि यद्य न वेद कश्चन. Any more devotees? Anybody from Vaishnavis? अथ कथाञ्चिन् सविमुक्त आपदा पुनश्च सार्थं प्रविशति अरिन्दमा. अध्वानियमुष्मिन् अजया निवेशितो भ्रमञ्जनोऽद्यापि न वेद कश्चन. We'll see word to word meaning. Atha, from this, kathanchit, somehow, sa, he, vimukta, liberated, apada, from the danger, punascha, again, sartham, taking interest in that life, pravishati, begins, arindama, O king, killer of the enemies, adhvani, on the path of enjoyment, amushmin, that, ajaya, by the influence of the illusory energy, niveshita, being absorbed, brahman, traveling, jana, the conditioned soul, adyapi, even up to the death, na veda, does not understand, kaschana, anything. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. O killer of enemies, Maharaj Rahugan, if the conditioned soul somehow or other gets out of his dangerous position, he again returns to his home to enjoy sex life. For that is the way of attachment. Thus, under the spell of Lord's material energy, he continues to loiter in the forest of material existence. He does, he does not discover his real interest even at the point of death. Please recite the translation in response. O killer of enemies, Maharaj Rahugan, if the conditioned soul somehow or other gets out of his dangerous position, he again returns to his home to enjoy sex life. For that is the way of attachment. Thus, under the spell of the Lord's material energy, he continues to loiter in the forest of material existence. He does not discover his real interest even at the point of death. Purport. This is the way of material life. When one is captured by sexual attraction, he becomes implicated in so many ways and cannot understand the real aim of life. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 31 says, Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnum. Generally, people do not understand the ultimate goal of life. As stated in the Vedas, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayaha. Those who are spiritually advanced simply look at the lotus feet of Vishnu. The conditioned soul, however, not being interested in reviving his relationship with Vishnu, becomes captivated by material activities and remains in everlasting bondage, being misled by so called leaders. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा पश्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणरघुनाथान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I seek blessings of all the assembled devotees so that we can discuss something worthwhile from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and specifically this concept of material forest of material enjoyment. So here in today's discussion, we will analyze the verse with the specific Sanskrit terms that have been mentioned. We will take few examples to illustrate what is being discussed here and explain them further, and then finally see what is the conclusion of the whole understanding of this Bhagavatam verse. So the verse says, let's go to the verse. Ataha kathanchin savimukta apada. So the apada means great danger. So whatever the precarious situation is being described in few previous verses, if somehow or other, so Prabhupada uses this word in the translation, kathanchin means somehow or other. So it may look little simple in English when it is translated somehow or other, but that somehow or other means actually with great difficulty. To get out of one dangerous situation in this material world is actually very difficult. That's why it is atha kathanchin, somehow or other. All the various concepts were explained about monkeys, about jackals, about bees, mosquitoes, shallow rivers, mountains, pricking path, all that has been described. Somehow or other, the person has come out. So what is that? Atha kathanchin sa vimukta apada. So one precarious danger situation one person has come out. Punascha sartam. Punas means again he goes into that. Punascha sartam pravishati arindama. So here Rahugana is being referred to as Arindama because, oh killer of enemies. Because you may think, the king may think that I have conquered so many enemies. Right? Sometimes a king goes fights with a smaller king and acquires his kingdom, and he thinks that I am become Maharaj. But hardly he thinks that there are so many inimical elements, concepts within his heart or in his mind that he has not conquered. So he is referring to him as Arindama. Arindama means, Dama means conquering. Arin means enemies. Arindama means one who has conquered his enemies. Punascha sartam, my dear king, if you come out of one dangerous situation, you enter into another dangerous situation. So there is no actual benefit of coming out of that dangerous situation, right? If by great difficulty, with fight, with anxiety, you come out of one difficult situation and you go into another difficult situation, what is the use? Absolutely no use, right? श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन भगवान की, श्री श्री गौर निताय चंद्र भगवान की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की. So punascha sartam. So the whole concept of this verse is trap after trap. You come out of one trap, get into another trap. Like sometimes in childhood times we used to play a game where a small ball has to be taken out from the entire trap, but we see that it comes out of one trap, goes into another trap. So that whole trap is cycle of birth and death that is going on in this material world. So atha kathanchin savimukta apada punascha sartam pravishati arindama adhvani amushmin ajaya niveshito. So niveshito means again he becomes interested, invested, entrapped. We can use all this synonymous word. Interested, invested, entrapped in again in another concept of material life. Of course, Prabhupada in this translation, in a very graphic way, he says that he again gets trapped in this sex life. Although the direct Sanskrit words or terms doesn't directly speak about sex life, but Prabhupada says that it is sex life only, again you get trapped. So one thing is Prabhupada is extending the meanings of Bhagavatam in the word in the translation, but we can also understand that this is what actually Jada Bharat is trying to mean. Sometimes the context of all that which has been spoken before builds the context, and Prabhupada gives the direct meaning of what the actual person is trying to speak. Adhvani amushnim ajaya niveshito. Ajaya means, Prabhupada translates ajaya as what does it translate? By the influence of illusory energy. Also, ajaya Sanskrit can mean, jaya means to gain victory or to get out or become victorious. Ajaya means never get victory. So in this material world, millions of souls are trying to become happy. And the percentage of success rate is 0. Right? Sometimes when we are in 11th or 12th class, or maybe before that, when we are trying to select a college or a school, we try to judge a college by success rate. Sometimes these concepts are promoted. Success rate of job is 20%, success rate of job is 40%, and we feel that the success rate is interesting, and we again become niveshito, we go into that concept of life. So here ajaya means the success rate in material life is 0. Success rate in material life is 0. Because sometimes people say that success rate in spiritual life is very less. Like Krishna says, na, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhet yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Success rate is very, very less. But success rate in material life is 0. So what should we select? Material life or spiritual life? Although spiritual life also has very less success rate. But success in material life is 0. Ajaya. Nobody has become happy in this material life. Actually, people think that if I have more money, I will have more happiness. That is a standard, very crude way of material living. They just run after rat like rat and think that I squeeze out as much money from my material existence, I get more happiness. Like that they think. So ajaya niveshito, you get invested in a place where you will never get success. So trap after trap in unsuccessful attempt. Brahman jano. This word Brahman, Prabhupada translates as traveling, and then in that in the word to word translation he translates as traveling, and in the translation he makes it as loitering. Right? Little interesting. He says traveling and then loitering. Actually, loitering is more closer concept of Brahman. Brahman means what? You encircle around a point trying to get some enjoyment. Or you go from one place to another trying for that enjoyment. The center need not be a geographical center. The center is a concept of material enjoyment that you have. Brahman. So Brahman means you never come to the point actually. In material enjoyment, you think that, like, you are at a point A, you want to go to point B, you think that when I go to point B, I'll become happy. You actually are at point A only, you are Brahman. You never get to that point. Sometimes Prabhupada says, some people give this example also, that you are licking a honey bottle from outside and you're thinking that I'll get enjoyment. When you see honey very tasty, you have some concept in your mind and you lick the bottle and you think that I'll get enjoyment, but you will never get because you're doing Brahmana. Brahman jano adyapi naveda kaschin. Even when you die, you will still not understand that you are in the wrong concept of life. So these are all the concepts that have been spoken in this verse. And interestingly, the last thing is na veda kaschana. You will never understand anything. Not that you have achieved something. Kaschana means nothing. You have understood nothing, my dear king. So although the Sanskrit verse, when we chant in a rhyming way, it may sound very sweet and enchanting, but it is a very heavy message that Jad Bharat is giving to Rahugan. Like when some people are deep inside this material concept, they need a deeper injection to go inside their material consciousness. Like when we human beings, we go to a doctor, we have a disease, the doctor gives injection, even a small prick, the injection just goes in. But I don't know how many of you have seen a buffalo being injected. If you try to inject the same way the human beings are injected something, you go to buffalo like nothing. You have to take a very thick injection. You almost like you have to hit from your full force, and then the buffalo shakes a little bit, and then you can put the injection. So this is what Jad Bharat is doing to Rahugan. My dear King Rahugan, you are very deeply engrossed in material consciousness, not even slightly. So the deep engrossment of material existence needs a deeper injection like this. Actually, in the next verse, he actually speaks also. My dear King Rahugan, you can see the next verse whenever it is discussed. My dear king, you are also a victim of external energy. Directly speaks and gives this injection. So that's what is happening here in Bhagavatam, where Jadabharat is giving instructions to Rahugan. So here there is a description about trap after trap. So we'll try to understand what are the major traps. Like Bhagavatam gives few classic examples of traps. We have 5 senses, and each of the senses have classic traps. And there is a specific example in Bhagavatam. So the 5 senses here are touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound. 5 senses. So each of the sense have a specific trap and an example. Like for example, the taste. With the tongue, people generally want to taste newer and newer things and better things. Sometimes the stomach gets filled, still he wants to eat because the tongue is not satisfied. And because of this, sometimes people become obese and get into various traps as per this Bhagavatam verse. So generally we see if we want to catch a fish in a pond, sometimes it is difficult. Even you put net, it is difficult. Various ways, it is not easily achieved. But it is very simple. There is one bait which is hooked to a hook. The bait exactly is a very small kind of an insect food for the fish. It is hooked in the hook. When the fish thinks that, sometimes the fish knows also that this food element is in the trap. And the fish thinks that I will only get the food out and I will not get stuck in the trap. He thinks like that. Sometimes a materialistic calculation person thinks that in this material life, I'll just get the enjoyment out and not get trapped. Things like that. The fish also thinks like that. While around, he may get many other insects, small food also, but he thinks that this food I should taste. So he goes to the hook and he tries to eat. And actually what happens, just like we have a jaw, and a hook can go very easily into the jaw, that hook gets into the jaw of the fish, and then the fisherman easily brings it out and he traps him out. So that is a classic example for a trap for taste. For the taste, a fish goes and gets trapped. Then there is a sight. People generally go on weekends to go see beautiful sight. They sometimes say that we are going for sightseeing. Want to view beautiful sightseeing. So there is example of a moth, a small firefly kind of a person, entity. They keep flying. Sometimes during a sudden rains, they manifest. and you try to catch it by your own hand, you may not be able to catch it. Flies very quickly hither and thither. It's a short-lived this thing. To catch and kill that moth, it's very easy. You just light a candle in a corner, and all the moth, they think that the fire is such a beautiful scene. The fire is such a beautiful scene. They try to enter once. Once they enter, they get a little bit burnt. But still, the experience to have that sight of fire is so enticing that again it enters. If you very carefully observe that phenomena, the moth goes one time, comes out second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, burnt. And very soon you will see that it will drop dead next to the candle. So in this way, the sense of sight traps one time after another time after another time, and drops dead. So that is a classic example scriptures give. The another example of the next is smell. We want to smell very nice things. The classic example is bumblebee. Last time also I have explained that a bumblebee goes to a lotus flower. It tries to extract the nectar out of that smell from the lotus flower, and he actually does Brahman. The word being used in Bhagavatam, Brahman, goes around that lotus flower again and again, again and again, again and again. As much as it goes down that he gets tired, goes and sit on the flower and is continuously trying to extract that enjoyment of smell from that lotus flower. But by the end of the day, his Brahmana, he is tired, he goes and sits, the lotus flower folds itself. And because the lotus flower, when it folds itself, it is a bigger trap. You just cannot think of anything. It's an airtight, automatically it becomes airtight. And because it cannot smell or breathe further, it dies. So you go next day again when the lotus blossoms again, when the sunlight comes, then you will see that the petals are coming out and the bumblebee drops dead. So the interesting point to be understood here is every trap is leading to death. The trap that fish got caught led to his death. The trap that moth got into leads to its death. The bumblebee got trapped also leads to his death. And the fourth classic example is sound. When a hunter goes into a forest and he wants to catch a deer, because deer skin is sometimes very costly. People are interested to sit on deer skin and do many other things. So the deer skin is very enticing. So the hunter wants deer skin. But the deer is not very easy to be captured. You go run after here, the deer also runs one after another. So Maya Mrigam in 12th canto, if I am not wrong, there is description how of Lord Ramachandra running after Maya Mrigam. I am not remembering the exact verse. And it also says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also ran after Maya Mrigam, after those who are running after this Maya Mrigam. So the Mriga always runs here and there and it is very difficult to be captured. So the hunter makes a plan that the deer becomes enticed when he hears a beautiful music, beautiful sound. The hunter plays a sound and the deer automatically comes to the hunter. The hunter doesn't have to go to the deer. So when we become enticed or trapped by any of our senses, we automatically go to the death personified. So then hunter very easily catches the deer and then kills it, gets the deer skin out. So that is a classic example. Now the fifth and last very example is much more graphic, of touch. So generally, a human being or any other person wants to touch an opposite sex and get an enjoyment out of it. So the example the scriptures gives here is of an elephant. Why elephant is given this example? Because elephant is actually, of all these people, elephant is the most difficult species to be caught. Definitely fish, moth, bumblebee, deer are still difficult nonetheless. But still you can try. You don't have a danger of your life from them. Like if you go to catch a fish, fish cannot kill you. Hmm? If you go to catch a moth, moth cannot kill you. They can escape from you, but they cannot kill you. Bumblebee or even a deer. Hmm? But an elephant has such a great strength that even if you mishandle a little bit, they can pick you from the trunk, throw you down, and finish you. Elephants have that strength. So generally, a person who tries to capture elephant can never capture elephant by his own strength. Even he will not try. Hmm? But it's very interesting how to catch a male elephant specifically. Catching a female elephant is little easier than a male elephant. But how a male elephant is catched is by catching a female elephant. A female elephant is caught and it is shown, and then there is a trap which is encircled around that female elephant. And then the male elephant automatically sees an female elephant. And the elephant thinks that I can get an enjoyment by going and touching the female elephant. And in that way, he starts walking towards that female elephant and then he falls down in a ditch. You can actually see that videos how they actually do. We have seen, very interesting. An elephant, once it gets trapped, he is chained on his legs, right? So that chained by his legs and his trunk, so that it is not harmful. So in this way, the elephant is trapped. So in this way, this whole material world is created with so many traps. And this way, the living entity becomes very easily trapped, not just by one sense. Actually, there is a deeper meaning why scriptures give this example, that my dear human beings who are reading this scripture, these all animals or these species get trapped by one of their senses. But my dear human being, you are trapped by all the five senses. You will get example of human beings get trapped in all the five senses. So leaving these classical examples, there is one more very interesting example I have heard. Is about a monkey trap. If you all go to places like Vrindavan or other places where monkeys are prominent, like Ahobilam or other places, you can see monkey. The moment we see monkey, we become little disturbed. Why? Because monkeys can do anything. They can snatch your food that you have in your hand, or they can harm a little bit to you. So to catch a monkey is also not a very easy thing. It's a little difficult. It has sometimes nails, paws, by which it can hurt you. Monkeys also have teeth. Monkey bites are very dangerous. So to catch a monkey is very, very difficult task. So what is a trap for a monkey is that in a earthen pot, you leave a little peanuts. Peanuts means moongfali. You leave a little peanuts, you show to the monkey that you have put a pot, you put little peanuts and you leave that place. Then monkey thinks that now it is safe, that nobody is watching me and I can enjoy the peanuts. So then the monkey goes, puts his hand in that narrow mud earthen pot. It holds the peanuts, moongfali, and he tries to take it out. So the hand, when there is no peanuts, can go inside the narrow path. But the time when he tries to pull his hand out of that narrow path, it cannot come out because it is caught. He is holding peanuts. And the moment the person who wants to trap this monkey sees that this has happened, he will immediately go and catch the monkey. The monkey, when he sees that that hunter has come to catch me, he sees that I can easily run away if I leave that peanuts inside the earthen pot. It can easily bring out the hand and can run away. Still, it will not do because it is trapped in the mind that I should enjoy this peanuts and is easily caught. The monkeys are trapped like that in classic way. So just for that peanuts, he loses his life. Material world also, just for the peanuts of material enjoyment, we lose the life of Krishna consciousness. That's why sometimes Prabhupada says that in material world, everybody is working like a donkey, gada or ass. Why such examples are given? Because it is very graphic. People can see. If you go to a classic village washerman, he has 2 or 3 donkeys. Hmm. Why only donkey? Why not he can have horses? Because horses or other animals, they do not endure what this washerman actually does to the donkey. Hmm. Quite a long path from the place where he stays goes to the place where the water is. He puts a load of clothes. It is not that he just keeps few clothes and the donkey walks happily from one place to another. Load and load of things. Hmm. And when the donkey is not able to walk, the master of donkey beats him. And the donkey becomes alert. He says, "No, I'll walk." And then goes after walking from one place to another place, taking the whole load. Almost as much as the foam comes out of the donkey's mouth. Hmm. You see the donkey's mouth, the foam also comes out. Because he is working very hard. And he is being very heavily beaten by the master that you work hard. Hmm. We can visualize the modern context of company bosses. They also beat the employee. You work hard, you rascal. Why are you even going away on Saturday, Sunday? Work hard, we'll give you money. We have a deadline. Work hard. He beats with his money whip. And the employee goes, yes, yes, boss. No problem. We will work hard. Just like donkey. Gadha. So what happens after the end of the whole episode of the donkey from his master's house to the pond, from pond back to the master's house, is that he becomes very, very tired. In the entire day of tiredness, the master gives little grass to him. And the donkey starts eating. Wow, I got the grass from my hard work. But the donkey doesn't realize that if you just leave the master, grass is anyways available in the entire world. Just for the grass, the donkey need not work. So these are all the traps in material world, one after another trap. And even at the point of death, na veda kaschin. So in this way, www, World Wide Web, they call it as actually web, but www, wine, wealth and women, 3 major traps for human beings. Intoxication through tongue, intoxication through money, intoxication through opposite sex. Great traps. If you come out of one trap, there is another trap. We have already discussed so many traps. So that's why how do we come out of this trap is a very, very important thing. So now this is one trap, like Kunti Maharani prays, very interesting verse, 19th verse of 8th chapter, 1st canto. Maya javanika channam agya adhokshajam avyayam na lakshayase muda drisha nato natya dharoyata. So when Prabhupada was giving class, Prabhupada says, on one side, Maya is beating you, left, right and center. And on other side, to understand Krishna is very, very difficult. On one side, Maya is beating you one after another traps. And on other side, to understand Krishna is very, very difficult. Not so easy. Maya Javani. Krishna also has a Maya covering. Maya Javanika Channam Agya Adhokshajam Avyayam. So how do we get out? Is a concluding point from Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. Krishna says, Daivihi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. Daivihi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Just by surrendering to Shri Radha Madan Mohan, all the traps of concepts we have in our mental existence can get delivered. Maya Metam Tarantite. So the thing is, these people who are in material world, they try to have hope after hope. If I do one enjoyment, not successful. Another enjoyment, not successful. Again go one after another. Even at the point of death, they still have the idea that I should enjoy this material world. So sometimes this example is given of Yayati. He became very old, thinking that I will enjoy this life, this woman, that woman. Still, he is not satisfied. Even in the end of his life, he is asking his son, can you exchange my old age to your youthful? Like that. So one very interesting further example can be given about how till the point of death, this enjoying tendency is there. So this story is sometimes discussed about Akbar and Birbal. Akbar is a king. Birbal keeps asking few philosophical inciting questions to his minister. So one day, Akbar sees a very beautiful woman and it starts thinking that I should enjoy this woman. Then he says, no, 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 just leave it. Then he calls Birbal. He says that till what age this attraction to opposite sex is there, my dear Birbal? Please tell me. So then the Birbal says, till the point you die. Like here it is says, na Brahmanjano adyapi na vedakashni. Even up to the point of death, this attraction will not go away. Akbar was not convinced. He says, no, 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 not a right thing. Generally, people think that after 50, 60, it all subsides. But here, the example is that even at the point of death, you will not be away from this attraction to opposite sex. So, Birbal thinks that just by my explaining, he will not be convinced. It needs some illustration. So sometimes we read a concept in Bhagavatam, we feel that not very convincing the heart till the time we see an illustrative example happening in front of us. Birbal says, no worry, don't worry. It's okay. I'll explain you when the right time comes. So one day he suddenly comes and he says, Akbar, please come. Today I want to show you something. And Akbar starts, no, you don't come alone. You come along with your young, beautiful daughter. Akbar says, why? He says, don't ask much question. You just come. So then he goes to a small hut where an old man is about to die. So he comes closer to that house and he says, Akbar, you just wait outside. I will go inside and then I will call you at a right time. So he's a very old man. Even to raise his eyebrows, he was feeling it great pain. So when we become old, all our sensory organs do not function as we want. Generally in young age, they function as we want. Right? You want to do 100 things in your life, the young age supports do 100 things. But when you become old, even to walk becomes difficult. Right? So even to lift a hand becomes difficult. So he was almost about to the death. Even to lift his eyebrows was difficult, that old man. So the Birbal goes and announces to him that, my dear old man, the king of this area, the king of this kingdom, Mr. Akbar is getting into your house. Please open your eyes and see. He was lying down on the other side. The Akbar comes from other side. He is not even able to open his eyes. Not even able to open his eyes and see that the king has come to see me. So then Akbar turns to Birbal and says, what is this? You have called me here. He says, just keep mum. Then he tells his young daughter, who was wearing anklets and other jewelry. And then he says that, please walk now. So she was walking and the sounds of the anklets were making chan, chan. This old man's heart is also beating. Chan, chan, is being enticed. And then he opens his eyes. Who is this young, beautiful lady who has come into my vicinity? This is all seen by Akbar. Then he realizes, see, this old man also is becoming enticed. So in this way, this Maya doesn't give any exception. Like what happens is, in a school, if you don't do homework, the teacher beats. He never gives exception. Sometimes she may give exception. Chalo, ye bachcha zyada ro raha hai, chhod do. But Maya never leaves any person. Thoroughly beats every living entity who wants to enjoy separately from Krishna. So the whole understanding of these words is Naveda Kaschin. One has to really try to make his endeavors to understand his real goal of life. That is Krishna. Nate vidu swartha hi gatim hi Vishnu. Durashraya hi bahirartha manina. Durashraya means a person who never gets any enjoyment, he is running after that. And he is falling trap after trap after trap. But however, if we surrender to Krishna, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mame vaye prapadyante. Mam evaye. Evaye means only me. My dear Arjuna, the person who surrenders only to me, Mame vaye prapadyante, Maya metam tarantite. Tarantite means easily cross over. So these are all the various concepts of Bhagavatam. It's very easy to discuss on a theoretical and example platform. But to go deep in the heart, It needs lifelong practice, endeavor, mercy of devotees. Just like somehow or other we come out of one trap, actually somehow or other we get Krishna consciousness. Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyavane Jeev, Guru Krishna Kripa Paye Bhakti Lata Beej. So now somehow or other we got Krishna consciousness. We should remain in Krishna consciousness so that ultimately we reach Krishna's feet. So thank you all very much. If I have spoken beyond my realization, you all should forgive. It is just that the Bhagavatam gives this insight and I try to explain a little bit. So thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. If anybody has any questions or comments, they can please do so. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.